Superman, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Well, it was a little bit of a slow start, but we got there in the end. Welcome everybody. This is going to be a hyper bullish live stream today. It is looking very good indeed across the crypto markets. I hope you guys are going to enjoy the coverage. We're going to go into a bit more deep dive and a bit more detail on some areas that we don't normally do. And of course, some of the things we cover in Strategy Club. So if you haven't joined that, I well recommend it. It's just over $1 a day drawn up, so it's fantastic value. Everyone's about to make incredible gains over the next 18 months plus over the next 10-year cycle. It's going to be pretty awesome, but it's going to be life-changing, so exciting times. All right, so don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, we're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: the Crypto Night Show, Pulse Chain X it is, and of course Superman Crypto. So 3 YouTube channels. Smash the subscribe button on the way in, hit the bell for future videos. And of course, we're also streaming on X as well, the X platform. Hit the follow button at the top. It only takes you a second to do. Get into that. Now, obviously, the Crypto Night Show is the largest Pulse Chain influencer show that does daily shows. And I'm actually thinking of ramping up to 2 shows a day. Not sure I'll do that every day, but certainly on a regular basis. So it's really exciting because we're at this turning point right now. And of course, next week, I think is it, guys. I think next week is it. And so we're going to have a very exciting time, I think, moving into the rest of the year. It's going to be really, really epic. So let's get into it. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into the show. And of course, you can find all the links to Strategy Club in the video description and also pinned to the top of X. Go through the Whoop store, get your Discord link and sign up today. We have 1,000 members in Discord. And if I remember rightly, we were the first Discord for the Pulse Chain Hex community. So pretty exciting in there. All right. So let's jump into the news. We're going to kick off at the stock market and have a look at the results and some of the updates there about the geopolitics. So we can see at the moment, Wall Street soars more than 3%. Well, obviously that got a bit muted during the day, but we did get the NASDAQ there. We got 3% for the week. As Iran ceasefire rally gathers steam. The NASDAQ on Friday, however, was up a third of a percent, 80 points to 22,090. So let's have a look at the week chart for that. Look at that. So look at that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We jumped from 21,800. We got a 1,000-point jump in the week. Isn't that awesome? And if we look at the year chart there, we're only just rolled over a little bit, but I think we're getting ready for an exciting 80 months ahead, guys. It's going to be really, really awesome there. So we had a height of around about 23,960. So we're still about 1,000 points below that on the NASDAQ. Remember, NASDAQ's got all the tech companies. It's got the AI boom thing happening there, and we're not expecting that to slow down, right? That is a transformative. Once you let AI, the genie out of the bottle, once you've achieved AI, it's really huge, right? So obviously they're after general AI. There's still a bit of road to go in the old technology. But it's going to be, everywhere, and it's also going to be incredibly beneficial, but also the risks are ginormous as well, right? So there's it's a super technology, and so it's going to be a big issue there. We've obviously got a lot of other convergences with robotics coming. That's also going to be pretty amazing, but also pretty scary because once you put AI and these sort of thinking processes in a computer, and not just in computers that sit on your desktop, but actually start moving around the physical world. It's it can go both ways, right? So it's going to be a very transformative period. Huge for employment and also huge for potential threats. So we're moving into a pretty crazy time, guys. It's going to be pretty insane. All right, so we've got Dow Jones up 0.5%. Oh, sorry, down 0.5%, 270 points. We're at 47,900. That's the sort of the majors there. What else? We got the top of that move, 50,200. So we're quite a bit below the Dow Jones, about 2,300 points still below. So Dow Jones still got a lot of work to do there. S&P 500 is currently down 0.1%, just under 8 points to 6,816. And we saw a recent high there, 6,970. So we're only about 150 points away from getting back the S&P 500. Isn't that incredible? That's pretty insane. And we obviously had a great week in the chart here too, from 6,568 all the way to 6,800. So 240 point move. So, Tom Lee was pretty much on the money with this, and it's played out pretty well, hasn't it? Played out pretty well. All right, so we got the US dollar at 98.44. That's cooled off a little bit, and the VIX is back below 20, and that is definitely pulled back. Remember, we had a couple of times over the last month of the Iranian conflict where it hit over 30. So now we're back under 20 there. And over a full year, we get down to as low as like 13 or so when we really got risk on, right? So there's about 15 points difference there. So that is it on the stock market. Let's go to the West Texas. Oil is still elevated, so we've still got a bit of work to do. Obviously, the ceasefire is continuing to gain a bit of momentum. There is obviously, a lot of games played by the Iranian regime. The third level or whatever that who's running the place, and they play games all the way. We did see an hilarious thing at the UN today with the Iranians, and we're talking about the regime, not the Persian people. Getting on I think the Committee for Women's Rights. Can you believe it? I mean, it's just insane, isn't it? And all the countries that voted for it were all European countries for the most part. They're all just globalist Marxist idiots. And that's a sort of just contradiction that they have, right? So remember, the left aren't really for women's rights. They do terrible things for women and cause more horrific things to women you could imagine. Through immigration and abortion and everything else that they get up to. So that is the play on that at the moment. So there's some funny stuff happening there. Let's jump over to West Texas at $96, $95 for Brent oil, both down a little bit there, 1.3 to 0.75%. So we'll keep looking at that as we move forward. You can see over the last month, it's been a bit choppy. We had a big rise there on Tuesday. It's coming back down though over the last month, down 97. So it is easing. Gold there at the moment is down $30, just over 0.5%, down to 4,787, and silver is up slightly 4 cents to $76.48. But we are starting to see rotation from gold to Bitcoin, right? So we'll talk about that too. Now, looking at some of the news on that, of course. Now, remember, investing.com is a left-wing bias, so some of the copy is but left-wing, and it's also they're not the best writers either. So while the Middle East conflict continued to dominate headlines, the March CPI report grabbed a chunk of attention. Now it was higher, but it was below expectations. So isn't that cool? So that was kind of neat. Every time it's below expectations there. The headline CPI ticked up by 0.9% month to month, but the actual number jumped to 3.3%, but lower than expected, so of 3.4%. So that was good news. Great for crypto as well. Remember, inflation is also good for Bitcoin because Bitcoin's largely fixed in supply. Pretty modest inflation on our Bitcoin, 450 Bitcoin a day. And so, Bitcoin is even more valuable, right? Whether you got inflation, you got monetary printing. It's kind of cool. And you got high CAG, right? High yield on it. So in terms of price. So as expected, the headline figures reflected a massive surge in energy-related prices, with that index jumping at 10.9% in month to month, biggest increase since September 2005, so a long time. The index for gasoline prices soared 21% month to month. National average gasoline price has broken above 4 gallons for the first time in over 3 years in the United States. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a blip in the radar if they get a good ceasefire and into a peace agreement. But core CPI, which strips out energy and food, was not as bad as feared, and that's the good news there. The core index gained 0.2% month to month, lower than the consensus of 0.3%. It rose 2.6% year on year, below the anticipated 2.7%. So everything is coming in below expectations, and that's bullish for crypto markets, right, and the economy. This cooler core CPI print relief for markets may prove to be short-lived, though, says Jake from Longbow Asset Management. Ongoing inflationary worries about oil and food, as well as things like airline fares and used car prices, along with a tenuous ceasefire in the Middle East, will quickly put this morning data in the rearview mirror. investors look worrisome ahead. Now, I do note that recession fears are down to about 22% now, so that's even lower. March core CPI doesn't yet reflect the reality of oil supply shock, and that's true. So we're going to see how much impact that was. But the war was pretty short, in real terms, and so we do see it de-escalating, and it may lead to a peace agreement. Now, there could always be a setback, of course, and that could mean Trump takes over Karg Island and controls 90% of the Iranian oil. The Iranians don't want that. They don't want the Marines to land. They don't want to lose that 90% thing, because that's the money, right? That's the money. Money makes the world go around. Money makes them being able to buy stuff. Money makes them be able to bribe people. Money makes being able to do build, enrich uranium, if they could possibly even do that. So there's lots of things there they don't want to have happen, right? Things collapse pretty quickly. They're already having a lot of factions and fractions in the Iranian regime, and of course they don't want any of that. So they do see that they're at a pivotal point, and they've got the people against them, right? A lot of the people, if they show even more weakness, it's like a wounded deer. The people will start to really do that guerrilla warfare thing. So that's the other thing that they have. March core CPI, whereas the effect of real wage growth will bear the full brunt in April. While I'm glad to see the effects of less than expected in March, effects in April are now more likely to be worse, and that's probably true. We'll keep a lookout for that. The Fed's preferred gauge, the personal consumer expenditure, the PCE price index, was already running hot before the war, and so we'll see how that comes out. Obviously, we just had the CPI. Both of those are the two main inflation indexes. On Friday, we also had the University of Michigan monthly survey, showed U.S. consumer sentiment plunging 11%. So that's not a great thing, because obviously we had the war on, and they're just reflective of the war. Obviously, the U.S. is the big consumer in the world. About 2/3 of the United States economy is consumption. Remember, the United States economy is about 29 trillion last time I checked. So that gives you some idea. It does have an influence there. Open-ended comments show that many consumers blame the Iran conflict for unfavorable changes, and that's fair. I mean, there's nothing undue there. Ahead, inflation expectations jumped to 4.8% in April from 3.8% in March. Now, I think if the Iranian thing's short, then Trump's going to continue to pull down prices. That's what I'm expecting to see there, and that's what we had been seeing in many ways. So what else there? We got pretty much that. We got ceasefire bolstered after Israel. Lebanon agreed to negotiate, so that's going to keep proceeding. And we got we're going to find out in 24 hours. We're going to know soon, Trump told the New York Post. And so we'll see how that all happens over the weekend, right? The big negotiations are on. That sets us up if they do make good progress over the weekend for next week. So we've got two big fundamentals then. We're going to have potentially progress in the peace deal. So far, it seems to be picking up a bit of pace after a shaky start. There's still a lot of issues, of course. And then, of course, we've got the tax return on the 15th, right? So that is also typically bullish for crypto after the tax return settlements there. So, we've got two big bullish catalysts to continue the momentum in crypto. So it's looking good there. All right, we still have a few issues around the tanker traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, there's mines that the Iranian regime can't get because they've no longer got the ships for it anymore. So there's not fully open, just partly or mostly partly open there. Several Asian countries are heavy importers of crude, of course, while Europe also uses natural gas in the Persian Gulf. Bombardments of Saudi facilities obviously impacted things as well by about 600 barrels per day. Got a few things still going on there. Just having a look at a few stuff for this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that is our SNR economic update. Let's quickly go to the Fed rate monitor, and we obviously are going to get some bullish catalysts on that in the future, probably July. So actually, I think we're sitting up pretty well for April through the end of the year. Obviously, midterms still a bit volatile, but definitely if America and probably do pretty well in the midterms against previous expectations from a month ago or so. At the moment, no change expected in the Fed rate for April. We've got 2 weeks and 4 days and 16 hours to go till the next July is when we get a new chair, and wash and change very quickly by the time we get to July. So keep a lookout for that. If you're hyped to where we're going, guys, just like Excavator in the house, hey gang, then don't forget to repost the show on X. Just take a moment right now and do that. Really helps a lot, and pump your own bags, as it were. Let's jump over to the crypto majors. So obviously stock market a little bit mixed, but tech doing well. We've got crypto at the moment looking not too bad, right? So we're at almost 1%, 2.548 trillion, still small market cap, long way to go. This is the base case. We're about to rally hugely. We got Bitcoin at the moment is up 1% at 72,900. We'll take that. We're just another step up from breaking away. We had 60K, remember, just over 2 months ago. 60K was the low. Ethereum right now up 2% at $2,243. Not bad. XRP up 0.5% at $1.35. BNB at number 5, flat today at $604. Solana at number 7 up 1.3% at $84.55. Tron at number 8 down 0.5%, 31.9 cents. And then Doge at number 10 is up 1.1% at 9.3 cents. So those are the top performers. Best performer in the last 24 hours is Ethereum. Best performer over the last week is also Ethereum, up 9.3%. So think about that, 9.3% during this Iranian conflict. Pretty awesome. And of course, Bitcoin up 9% as well for the week. Yeah, fantastic, right? Fantastic results. All right, so we got the top performer in the top 100. We've got Siren still extremely doing well, 386%. We've got Block Capital there up 261%, although it's got a funny chart. I haven't really checked it. Zcash there is up 57%, looking pretty good for the old Zcash. Dash as well in the mix today, up 50%. Some of the OGs in the house, and that is doing pretty well, up 20% today. And then we've got Arbitrum there up at 25% at the moment today. So those are the top 5 in the top 100. Top performers in the top 1,000. We've got Rave DAO, Falcon Finance, and Binance Live there. Those are all doing pretty well. Trending overall, Bittensa, Rave DAO, and Monad. Those are doing there, or Monad. They are doing well overall. So those are our majors. So we have a nice little green day. Nice little pump off the back of, I guess, the inflation data too. And maybe progress in the Iranian, slow progress, mixed progress, cloudy progress in the old Iranian ceasefire peace deal. We'll see where that leads. Sean O'Malley in the house, up only indeed, and it's great. So it's awesome stuff. So now we're going to PowerCore. I'm a little bit quick. So let's go to the Bitcoin chart and look at this, guys. Woo! So last time we tried to get over the 50-day moving average, and that was at just under 73,000 at the time. It was short-lived, right? It was short-lived there. But today we've got over the 50, and it's looking really promising. Look at that. So we passed off. We didn't go back down. We're going higher. In fact, we got higher. So we're higher highs. So looking pretty good. The 50 at the moment is sitting at, let me see, sitting at $70,714. And we are well over that at 73,000. We just hit 73,000 live on the stream. OMG, that's so good. Last time when we were back up here, we were up at 76,000, so it's 3,000 more. But the fact that we're staying over here really nicely, we had a little retest there. Don't know whether we'll have another retest on a higher 50 if we move up here, but certainly looking good. And we've got the 200 moving average at 83,500. But we're going to talk about the bullish things moving this price, giving us structural support to the upside. Because remember, our low here was back here on the 6th of February, and that was at 60,000, right? So that was pretty much about at the bottom of the power law there, not the power floor, I should say. The power law floor there was about 53, but I didn't think we were going to hit that. And here we are at 21.7% up at the moment over 64 days, so just over 2 months, looking pretty good there as well. So things looking pretty good. Obviously, we want to roll this 50 up towards the 200 and get a golden cross, because we've been in this death cross for some time now, ever since that 10th of October event back up here. Look at that. That took us down, but we've been in this death cross since the 16th of November, which is essentially 146 days, so a long time, almost 5 months, and down 32%. So pretty crazy there. But if we take it from the high for Bitcoin all the way back here on 6th of October, 126,000, we got down as low as a 52% correction. So people were thinking we might get a 70%, but we've got structural support. And we're going to argue that now. So we're going to go through all the arguments for that. And then we've now down over 187 days. We are now down 42%. So, within within 123 days, so 4 months, we got down 52%, and now after 6 months, just over 6 months, we're now down 42%, but we're back over the 50 there, looking pretty good at the moment. And we've got some amazing fundamentals happening, and we got the worst of the war so far out of the way with de-escalation. So there we are at the moment, 73,000 on the old Bitcoin, looking real nice. But let's get into some of the catalysts that are driving structural support, and of course a bullish outlook for Bitcoin. And honestly, when you look at this stuff that we're going to go through now, it is mind-blowing, guys. Pack your bags. Really, it is really looking awesome. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin power law. You can see at the moment we are skimming across the bottom of the power law here for this version, and we've got. Let me just make sure I get that right on the last one there. So we are looking pretty nicely there. We got the power law there, 56,000 at the moment, 53,000 as I said on the power floor model. So that's pretty cool. But we're actually doing pretty well. Power law at the top of the range at the moment, 127. Similar to our all-time high from 6 months ago, and we've got the Bitcoin price there. So I think we're getting pretty exciting where we're heading here. If we just zoom in a little bit, you can see. Well, this is actually ruining the chart, but you can see that we're actually getting pretty good, ready for that banana part. So this part of the curve, this part here. So perfect time for entry right now, and looking pretty good. That the bottom was on the 60K, and we're now at 73. Now we do have positivities. What do we got? The two big things that are moving in. We got ETFs, exchange traded funds. We obviously had Morgan Stanley come in. 16 just been alive a couple of days, already doing the best ETF they've had. They got 16,000 sales agents, pretty much advisors. They got just a huge number of clients. The big money is coming. BlackRock, of course, they're competing with BlackRock, openly competing on the fees. So they're all in. They're all in, battling away there, and they're very excited about that. So today on the net ETF flows, we had 718,000 Bitcoin. 718,000 Bitcoin there in total. Net inflow there, $56 billion. So huge numbers coming in there for the old Bitcoin. I'm just having a look at these. What have I got this on at the moment? Bitcoin, yeah. So total 1,430 Bitcoin, I should say, is the net buy there for the 10th. So looking pretty good there as well. What else? Scroll down here. You can see on the chart here, we're getting some green candles now coming in. So expecting this ETF to pick up into next week. And of course, if we get a good Iranian talks, and we've got the 15th of the tax returns, should really start to climb there. Now, remember this number, IBIT there is got 788,930 Bitcoin. But I suggest to you that it's not too far away for within weeks, possibly for a bit for strategy and MSTR stretch products to flip this. So MSTR there, not too below this at the moment. So I think they're sitting in 766. I think that doesn't include the stuff they've been buying recently for this is the old report. Then you're looking at a gap there of what 4.4, maybe 12,000, 13,000, and I suggest to you they're pretty close to flipping that. Maybe not this report, but maybe just after. It's getting pretty close. Maybe they're getting pretty close to flipping that. All right, so that is exciting. So big flows, starting to grow. New entrants with Morgan Stanley, big bank player. So things are really looking good. That's going to funnel a lot of money into the old crypto. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, the other big thing that we've got is digital asset treasuries. And of course, that is strategy, Michael Saylor. And look at what we had overnight, guys. I mean, that is mind-blowing stuff. Just think about how big this is. This is the iPhone moment. People were laughing at Michael Saylor about it. But it's turned out to be the real deal, and we're only in the second month really of it really getting in the takeoff phase with the yield at 11.5%, right? So smashing money market bond yields of 2 to 4%, and of course private credit of 8.5%. So smashing those, and market is following the money there. Well over collateralized too. With a very, very, very important, volatility to return metrics, which is pretty amazing. So look at that. This is indicative, right? So remember, it gets probably higher than this, but the estimated acquired is 3,889 today. I have seen someone post over 4,000, but This is the number here. Estimated ATM. So ATM just means at the market. So when the strike price at the stretch price, STRC, it's a preferred stock, I should say, it's at $100. Whenever it's over $100, they can issue new shares and raise new capital and go buy Bitcoin with it. And what did they do? They raised $283 million. Think about that, guys. So over $250 million so far. And they just today, 3,900 Bitcoin bought. That's insane. Now I want to give some context to that because it's pretty huge. So we're going to do that in a minute. But that's pretty awesome stuff, right? So that is also equivalent to 864% of the daily Bitcoin mined, which is 450. So that's huge. 9.6 times the amount of Bitcoin mined they are bought off the market today. Just one day. So just think about that. It's quite mind-blowing. And over the week here, given these numbers, looks like we're at 9,600 Bitcoin was just bought this week. 9,600 Bitcoin just bought this week. We're going to give you context of how important that is. It's pretty amazing. And that's equivalent to 300%. So 4 times the Bitcoin supply. Pretty amazing that's been minted. That's just this week. Now, remember they've been giving monthly updates. So last week we got another 4,200. So you're already looking at 15,000 Bitcoin there. And the previous week they had a little bit added as well. So it doesn't show up here and it's not rendering properly. But I think it was about 300-400 Bitcoin. So we're going to get a big number, probably 16,000 or so. And I'm not sure if we're trading. We've got Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday. So 12th, 13th. I think we're trading Monday as well. So we've got Monday coming up. That's going to be pretty bullish. And I think that ex-dividend, I think either Tuesday or Wednesday, because the 15th it gets recorded. So probably the 14th. So we may get Monday, Tuesday as well with the ATM printing. So one of those two. So this is looking at some big numbers. So if we're up at around 15, 16,000, we, maybe even gets up over 20,000. Amazing stuff, right? Remember the last month's reports for the 2 weeks, we got 23,000 total, and we got I think it was 18 the week before. That includes some MSTR common stock issuance. They can raise capital that way with a positive MNAV. I think MNAV is around about 1.14. Not sure what it is exactly at the moment. And so they raise capital that way in addition. But what they do is they flip it because they're making so much capital, vampiring the debt markets. They don't have to raise so much common stock, and it's less dilutive. And they just shade off some of the yield to the preferred stock of Stretch, and they just are way more creative. Let's say they move from 25% rather than 75%, they flip it around, and so it's huge, right? It's huge, and so they're just adding so much creative. It's just unbelievable. This feeds on itself too, by the way. So pretty amazing stuff there. All right, so that is huge, guys. It is massive, and you can see this thing is just a vampiring the old debt markets, pumping up Bitcoin. Huge for MSTR and everything else. So pretty awesome, eh? Pretty awesome. We got Frank White in the house. Bang, bang, Pulse Gang. Good to see Frank White. We got Hex Down Under as well. Last of the sunshine. Winters are coming. What's on the cards this weekend, Superman? Well, it's a bit wet here, actually. But we're having fun. We're at the gym. We're working out. We're doing crypto and everything else. So it's pretty fun. Probably go to the mall. Maybe go to the mall this weekend. Who knows? So that is Stretch, guys. It is a game changer. And so we've got the ETFs ramping up, Morgan Stanley, etc. We've got Stretch from Digital Asset Treasury from, like I say, just unbelievably minting. And we're going to talk about some of these numbers that we might get with each month here, as Strategy is about to flip IBIT, the big ETF there, BlackRock. So it's about to flip. We're very close to doing it, and so it's going to be pretty cool. We're pretty much in that pivotal moment. But more importantly is how much Bitcoin it's accumulating, which we're going to talk about. All right, so that is pretty cool. Let's jump into a little bit of update here from Kathy Wood as well. So we're going to just play this little clip about gold rotating to Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is starting to outperform gold again. Gold peaked January 28th, the day that Warsh was announced as the next Fed chairman, if Congress approves him. And he is slightly hawkish. So Bitcoin has been moving up relative to gold. That's interesting.
So just a little bit of movements there. Obviously, we've got Wash coming in July, and so yeah, we'll see where all that plays out. But probably bullish for crypto, right? Bullish for crypto generally. So that is pretty cool. Let's get to the last one here. Now I want to bring it all together. I want to tie all the stuff together because I want to tie supply and demand together and show you how we're at a pivotal point for Bitcoin right now. It is insane. It's going to be insane, guys. So let's have a quick look at it. So this is a chart. It shows the Bitcoin supply. And I said to you, pretty much by 2032, I think it's close to game over, right? So you're in this window where it's just huge. If you're a person in the retail play, if you're a person that wants to, you don't want to compete with AI, you don't want to compete with mass immigration, you're worried about all that because it's real, right? It's real. It's smashing a lot of people's lives. And we've got also Marxist governments looking to do intergenerational equity, which basically means stealing from older people and giving it to young people, basically, right? So we've got lots of bad policies coming down the line from these people. So it really is a tough place to be, and we have, there's a lot of bad employers out there. There's lots of pretty difficult. So, getting into crypto at this time is pivotal. It is really that transformational for those, and it will get you out of that rat race, which is only going to get more difficult. Yeah, it's we've got 8 robots coming too. Humanoid robots going to be doing a lot of the work. They're going to have fully ambidextrous hands, and or fully, 80% plus on the hands there with Optimus 3, etc. Mass productions, millions of units are starting pumping out next year. The world's going to change dramatically, guys. So yeah, it's to keep pace on that. And just funny enough, over the same period of time, this is the last window for Bitcoin, right? Because the supply is going to disappear, and it's going to be the true store value because it's going to have close to a fixed supply, and the world's going to be flocking to it because of all the money printing and inflation issues and all the rest of it. Despite all the good stuff Trump is doing, they're going to have a lot of those issues still play out. So let's have a look here. We've got Bitcoin supplies. Let's play this little video and watch this little line down the bottom here of the Bitcoin growth since 2009. So see how that's just growing. So here at 2012, we're up near 10 million Bitcoin or so. We're at 10.6 million. You can see the Bitcoin count at the top right there in gold, and the cap there is 21 million. Remember, by 2141, 21 million, which is all the way at the bottom of the axis here on the. So 2016, we're up at 15 and 3/4 million. So we're really got 75% of the 1 million up by that time. And let's keep going here. – 2024, so 2 years ago, we're up at 19.7 million, 93.75% of the 21 million Bitcoin. So by 2032, and this is the key part, we're in 26. By 2032, we're going to have 20,671,000 Bitcoin out in the market. So just think about that. We just passed 20 million, and I think we're at 20,040,000 or something now. And we're going to be at 20,671,000 by 2030. So you can see there's actually not a lot of Bitcoin left to come out. That's 98.44% of the 21 million. There's not a lot to come out, guys. There's not a lot to come out. And in 2 years, the emission rate's going to halve from 450 to 225. But it's actually going to get really just a lot harder by the time we get to 2032. So you can see there's a short window left for the early phase of Bitcoin, really. And of course, we're expecting the price to elevate a lot in that time frame between 26 and 32. You can sort of see it's a no-brainer. We are in an explosive period of value creation. Remember that Michael Saylors got a price of 2045. I think it's sitting at 13 million, if I remember rightly, for their base case. So, but the upside's even higher than that, right? So, and you got a lot of people calling $1 million, $2 million, $3 million Bitcoin by 2030. Those are definitely in the ballpark. You can see that here with by 2032, the supply is really not much left to go. I mean, there's only 330,000 Bitcoin left to go after that over the rest of the period. We're talking about 2141, right? So, that's a huge number, 150 years to get that last little bit of Bitcoin. So let's watch the rest of this and just remember this phase between 26 and 32, not a lot left to go. Let's watch the rest of this chart just tick along. By the time we get to 2050, we were at 20,993,000. We're at 99.97% of the 21 million Bitcoin. Think about that. I mean, sometimes you got to sit and just take back just the basic numbers. I mean, there's just basic supply numbers, but it's really just important to take it in because it's so transformational. And like I said to you, the world is going to be facing the fallout of mass immigration, the low trust societies, and the elites and all that. Despite all the good stuff Trump's doing, he's doing some fantastic stuff. But we've still got globalists running around the world doing all this mental psychopath stuff, right? And then we're also going to have AI. We're going to have humanoid robots, right? So you're going to have a lot of employment challenges to all the jobs are going to be going. You're going to have Marxist globalists coming in with, instead of a universal income, it's going to be universal enslavement, all right? And you're going to have a lot of bad policies like intergenerational equity, stuff like that. So this is the way out. This is the chance of a lifetime, not just with Bitcoin here, of course, but Ethereum as well. And of course, anything that's built on the back of that. Pulse chain, of course, we're bullish about that too. So this is where we are at 2050. Now, obviously, depending on your age group, that's completely relevant to you. But you can already see by 2032, as I pointed out, we essentially got a very low amount, 330,000 Bitcoin left. And it's game on. So this is the supply side. We already looked at the demand side. We've got ETFs ramping up. We've got institutions and corporates coming through that. We've got Genius Act. We've got all this stuff. We've got tokenization boom just beginning. And we've got all these intentions by these big corporates to tokenize. It's all happening. And then we've also got, obviously, the digital asset treasuries as well. The other thing I haven't talked much about is all the third and fourth layer projects that are going on the back of these treasuries, offering exchange traded products on the back of these things. They're starting to boom as well, right? So, and of course, Bitcoin there is truly definitely that intention, that vision of becoming the true global store of value is now really starting to take off. Despite the fact that it was down a little bit during the beginning of the Iran war, the fundamentals are all going in the right direction. So very, very cool. Now we do see, banks, of course, have like France have been taking their gold out of the US, New York banks. So that we do see this stuff, but that's old school stuff. Very hard to move gold, and of course that's always growing in supply, right? So whereas Bitcoin's just going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed, and you can just transfer it. It might take you 10 minutes, depending on how much you pay. It might take you a minute, depending on how much you pay, but it's still a relatively store value there. So you can see here, and not only a store value now, it's now offering yield, right? So not proof of stake like Ethereum, but it's offering yield in the debt markets, and it's vampiring hundreds of trillions of dollars in the debt markets there. So even if it starts off with a fraction of that debt market, it's going to increase, and we've already seen it increase over the last 2 months, right? So we've seen it go from a low of like $40 million prints on the daily to $250 million, $260 million prints, and that's only going to go up. We're probably going to get $1 billion days as it vampires more of that traditional debt market. It is a big deal. So you can see this is a huge chart, and hopefully it's really showed that. Let's keep going though, right to the end. Let's go to 2070. So 2070, we're going to be at 20,999,759. So obviously, you'd have to be pretty young now to be around there, but that is pretty much gone, right? There's only 241 Bitcoin left by 2070. So there's very little Bitcoin coming out by any of that imagination. And then, of course, by 2100, there's only 3 Bitcoin left to come out. And then, of course, we get to 2141, which is a whole nother 41 years later. Then we get to 21 million Bitcoin essentially. So isn't that crazy, guys? Isn't that crazy? If we zoom back here, if we zoom back on this and we go back to 2024, which is 2 years ago, we were at 19, just under 19.7 million. Now in 2026, let's see here, 2026 here, we're essentially, let's see here, let's go. We're just underneath this at the moment, so we're not quite there yet. But 95.7, so I think we're at about 20.40, I think, remember rightly, we just passed 20 mil. But by 2032, this is really, look at that, it's only 330,000 left. I mean, come on, guys. Supply is very rare, and we've got massive, ginormous money coming in. It's just takeoff time. So this is huge. So I want to spend a bit of time on that just to give you an idea. This is how fundamental the move. It is so fundamental. It is. It's just so significant, and that's why I'm saying over and over again, because it is that epiphany, that craziness is just insane. And now that Michael Saylor is bought with digital assets treasury with Stretch, and we'll probably see a few other products as well. We've already got a couple others, right? It is vampiring the debt markets. It's offering 11.5% yield. That yield may change over time. Obviously, if the Bitcoin goes out, it can come down. But it's offering that on a monthly basis, which is about 96 cents per dollar. I think 96 cents per $100. Yeah, and what we will see is that why would you get 2 or 4% when you can get an over collateralized volatility to return from Stretch at 11.5%, right? And that's why you're seeing the money ramp up now. The last 2 months just ramping up. And so if we're getting a couple $100 million a day with the ATM buying Bitcoin, we could easily see we're going to get $1 billion days. We could see it next month and the month after. It's just insane. Now, some of the metrics I want to talk about quickly before we move on from this is the total supply, right? So, if we've got 450 Bitcoin mined a day, we've got about 3 million Bitcoin on exchanges, right? But really only generally liquid is about 1 million Bitcoin. So think about this. So we've talked about the supply. You can see it in the chart there. We've only probably got about 1 million Bitcoin floating around exchanges and active supply to some degree. But let's think about this. Michael Saylor, just with putting the ETFs aside, which are also accumulating Bitcoin, and of course with Morgan Stanley, we've got Stretch there on track for maybe around 45,000 Bitcoin purchases per month. So he's probably looking close to 5% of the liquid supply. So think about that. That's now. That's coming up. That's happening. It's insane. And remember, not with this just with Stretch, but they can issue MSTR common stock as well. And even if they flip the percentages because it's accretive, right, to do so. It's insane. So hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. This is really the kingpin. This is really going to make everybody watching rich. And of course, it's going to be pretty exciting to see. The money is coming. They work for you. Michael Saylor is working for you with this. He's vampiring the debt markets, and it's going to pump so much capital into crypto that it's going to be insane. And it's great. It's fantastic. Right, so that is pretty cool. Let's jump into Ethereum. Ethereum, of course, has its own play with finance. So we've got two big things happening at once, and this is the finance is coming to Ethereum. And so if you thought the Bitcoin story is fantastic, and it is unbelievable, and we're in takeoff phase in the last 2 months, you're here in history. This is history making. This is the point of history. This is like, I was there in the 929 crash, I was there in the 987 Wall Street crash, I was there. I was down in the pits. This is kind of like that. This is the moment, say, hey, look, I was there when Bitcoin. It's kind of cool. Now you want to say that you actually had some bags, and stuff. All right, so it's kind of cool. All right, let's jump over to Ethereum here. Ethereum right now looking pretty solid too. We started our 5th day here now over 50-day moving average, just a brand new day. And we have the 50-day moving average at 2,158 in yellow. And we're well above that at 2,246. Looks like we're trying to wind up here perhaps next week or over the weekend there. We'll wind up next week. We've got those two catalysts. We get good news out of the Iranian progress there. Now it's going to be topsy-turvy, but we'll see what happens. And we're certainly getting a bit more momentum after the rocky start. And then the 15th is the tax return day. So we're looking forward to that. Maybe we'll get a market maker coming in here and pushing this higher, right? So the last time we had a high here was on the 16th of March. We got to $2,386. And we got currently the 200 moving average at $2,675 on the old Ethereum there. Now, just like Bitcoin's got all its buyers coming with the ETFs and digital asset treasuries, ETP products on top of that, all that sort of stuff. We also have the Ethereum with the digital asset treasuries and ETFs as well coming in as well. Now, not only are they coming in, BlackRock there recently now ETHB, which also does, instead of moving from they're just buying ETH, they're now buying ETH and staking ETH. We also see a lot of the other organizations getting more confidence in staking ETH, even including the Ethereum organization, which is selling some ETH for apparently R&D and anti-quantum risk and everything else to do the new vision for a DeFi chain. I thought so they're supposed to be in the beginning, but they lost their way. Right? It's amazing how geniuses lose their way. There's all sorts of kinds of geniuses out there. They're not all necessarily mathematic and programming geniuses. There's people with common sense. They're basically geniuses these days, right? If you've got common sense, basically a genius these days. But it's a rare quality, apparently, rare quality. But that is kind of the play right now. We're at $2,247 in the mix there, and we're nicely above the 50. So looking pretty good with some catalysts for next week. And the bottom potentially in on the 15th there. Looking very good. Remember last year, if we look at the chart last year, I don't know, we got the look there. Let's see. We had March last year, and we had March the 15th. We did go down last year on that, but actually on Bitcoin, we actually had a little rise on the old Bitcoin, right? So the Bitcoin's going to be particularly bullish. A little dip there on some specific news, but then we rallied hardcore, right? All the way from April there, we rallied hardcore. There, sorry, no, my bad, I'm in the wrong month here. 15th. Let me go to 15th here. 15th. So that was 15th. And then we had a rally out of that. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And so I think we're setting up pretty nicely for that again because we've got these ETFs coming in, new players, the big players. I mean, this is not small players. And then we've got the digital asset treasuries ramping up. Exciting. So I think we're looking very good for the year. Look very good there. Now, Trump also put out a post, pretty mysterious post. The Great Reset is happening today, or at least coming up, the Great Reset. So look forward to whatever that is, and we're excited about what he's been doing. So yeah, this kind of play, and that is Ethereum right now. Now, obviously, we're going to get an update on Monday next week, Monday US time, on Bitmine Immersion and their ETH acquisitions. They've typically been doing about 71,000, essentially calling the bottom in. So we've definitely been talking about that. And obviously he's called pretty much the war, but the war to value has played out very well. Of course, Ethereum, they're the best performer since the beginning of the war. How about that? I think they had the MSCI was doing pretty well, and Bitcoin. So basically, Ethereum and Bitcoin are the two top performers there during the war. And I think we're ready to take off, guys. It's exciting. And of course, we saw the S&P 500 come back, pretty close to all-time highs, about 150 points down from there. So, Mag 7 doing well. There was a few weak Mag 7s, but there's a Mag 7's doing well. Software doing well, crypto doing well. So we're setting up nice. But you can see we're setting up for some big moves. We're talking about takeoff time. It's not mucking around anymore with the old crypto. Now, we do have the Clarity Act in play. That's still a bit of, we saw a lot of that with Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. We saw a lot of the key players there supporting that in the Senate. And so we're looking hopefully to get that moved in April and then signed in by May the 21st. If it doesn't happen now, it could be delayed till 2030. So we really want that as the final stamp of approval with the full regulated crypto market. We already see the SEC and the FDIC and everything supporting with interpretations and everything else. But we want that final seal of approval with the Clarity Act. And so, yeah, fingers crossed, guys. I really do want that. And then there's nothing left to hold us back, really. But the market's moving anyway. Just that will make it a lot easier for a lot of corporates that are still yet to really climb on board to change their risk profiles, constitutions, get not just the zealots and the ambassadors on board, the enthusiasts, but also those that are conservative and not yet across the line, which is a lot, right? That's why it always takes, a good 3 to 5 years to ramp up the institutions and corporates to bring all that money. But it's already moving. We've already got key players already moving, and the banks leading is very positive because they can, they're the salesmen. They can convert a lot of their clients over, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's move on. That is Ethereum right now. So we're also looking for some big moves. Now we're going to get the Pulse chain. Pulse chain at the moment is just turned green? No, it's not green yet. But let's have a look at Pulse chain. Pulse chain is on day 1065 for Pulse chain. Pulse chain, of course, launched on the 13th of May, 2023. We're 1,065 days later. We got Pulse just coming off the bottom of its all-time low, and we've got 50747 right now, down 0.5% today. So not having such a great day compared to the majors at the moment. PulseX at the moment at 50.57, pretty low, right? Down 4.4%. We might have to check some of these charts if we've got time. And maybe I'll do that on the second live stream. Yeah, let's do that on the second live stream later today. Maybe we'll cover the core Richard Hart cores. We're at 35 cents on incentive token, down up 3.6%. And Hex at the moment on Pulse Chain, or PHEX, is at 13 hundredth of a penny, down 2.6%. And EHEX is down at 0.0062. 0.0062. Combined price of EHEX and PX just below 0.2 of a penny at 0.00197. So there we go. Let's go. The buy and burn sitting at 8.83% for PulseX here. Let's go to the validators. We've got 50,466 validators. No real change there. The bridge values, hey, we're at 70 million. We've got to give that a clap, I think. That's pretty cool. We finally got back over 2 million. Yeah, pretty good. So 70 million back on the bridge and looking pretty nicely there. Obviously, ETH and Bitcoin up. So nice stuff happening there. All right, so let's jump over to the trending right now. We're going to get to the Pulse Chain news as well with LibertySwap leading the way. But we've got some nice movers in the top 100 trending here. This is the default view for Dick Screener. We have the ARC. It's been around apparently for 7 months. And it is up 20% today on pretty low volume though. So, 2,000 against 40K liquidity. Pepe at the moment is up 19%. Been around for over a year. And of course, it is, I think it's about 1.9 years or something. It is up 19% again today. So a big brand, of course. And that is on Pulse Chain. Let's quickly look how long it's been around. A year and 2 months for this PM, and having a little bit of an update off the bottom from the looks of it. Let's go to the weekly candles. Yeah, just look at that spike today on the week. Look at that big violent spike there today. The other day, was it 5 days ago? Got spiked down all the way to 4 zeros, 7,700. Is now at 3 zeros, 1,800. So really nice. I don't know. You'd have to be in the lucky. Do we have limit orders that can pick that up? Possibly. But 126% up there in 5 days. So nice little bag there. 2.25x. It's saying. That is the old Pepe. SCADA from the supply team with their innovative tokenomics. That's up 18% today as well. Let's have a quick look. They're very low volumes, of course. Just want to note that on these ones. They're retail plays and they've got small liquidity. So these guys can, pop up on the leaderboard, but still, great projects doing their thing. So we'll have a quick look at SCADA here and have a look at where this is going. A nice little green week there on the old week. So it's bounced off the bottom. About a month and a half ago, it was down at 3 zeros, 7,500. It's now at 2 zeros or 1,500 of a penny. So there we are, not too bad. So we've got a pulse ratio for SCADA looking super good. Look at that. That's a real story, right? With pulse being down for 9 months. This is the real story here. So we've got the pulse ratio going up, almost 200 pulse there, 198 pulse. All-time high back here all the way in November was 325. So still a bit of work to do to there, but certainly looking pretty good here with the old SCADA. So if you're in some of these retail plays, let's get to a bigger play, which is we have about, probably 6 or 7 protocols that are doing over 100K in volume. And some of them doing a lot of volume, some of them doing just minimum 100K cutoff. And typically the bottom one is PDI, typically is the one that normally is the cutoff. And sometimes we get PCock in there too. But this is what I call the titans of Pulse Chain because they're the ones that are really contributing the volume, right? Think about the volume. We got 4.8 million today, which is better than what we've had in the last couple of days because we were down at 2.8, 3.3 mil. So we're at 4.8 million today. So that's a lot better volume. We got 278,000 transactions in the last 24 hours. So that's not too bad as well. A bit of uplift there. But ProveX, let's go to the ProveX, the big pool with $1 million in it. It's doing volume, pretty good volume here. We're talking about over $500,000 in volume. So it's pretty cool. And it's up 13%, almost 13%. Let's have a look at the chart. Now, you guys know I've been calling this chart like a boss. So far, I give myself 99 to 100%. We give it that. Don't want to be too cocky about that because you can always get charts wrong, and we have in the past. Not commonly, but it happens. But we got the moving average here, and my last target was 9100 to 93. So we're not quite there yet, but the chart's looking pretty good, isn't it? So we can see here on the Fibonacci, it's got 9300, right? So that was the top of my range. I always like to drop it a little bit lower, 9100. And we've got that happening here as well. So kind of cool. We've also got, good numbers here on the horizontal at 9,000. So 91 to 93 seems fair. and we're not quite there yet, but on the 4 hour, this is a 4 hourly chart, by the way. We are chipping away quite nicely. We had a bullish cross here, 21 over the 50 moving average. The RSI was a bit heated, got cooled off. I talked about that back at 70, so it's still a little bit elevated on the 4 hour. On the daily, though, it's still got plenty of room to move, right? Daily's got lots of room. We started printing that. We're at 60. So, it could, on the 4 hour lead, just ebbs and flows on the RSI and keep pushing high here. So I'm still very, very good at 91, 92. And we'll see how we get on as we move forward there with that. But so far, so good. We had big volume come in as well to push that higher on the 4 hourly, and daily is sitting there right now. So kind of cool. So that is update for ProVex. Still looking like the powerhouse there. We got Smorg up 11%. Small retail play as well. 2K on 30K volume. 2K volume on 30K. So another small play there. It's a little bit deceptive, right, when you see these big yields, but they're small retail players, right? Small volume over small LPs. So obviously they can move quite easily. 9mm, our second biggest DEX, right? So 9mm at the moment, what's it doing? So we're up. We've got pretty good volume today. 9mm is doing 650K. So that's much better for profitability. And of course, they give out, their profits every month, somewhere, I don't know, maybe between 10 to 30 million, somewhere in that zone. I know it's a big difference, but that's, I'm just trying to average it out there. We got a Troper at the moment from James Maria up 6.8%. Reserve Tay, James Maria 6%, I believe, as well. RhinoFi up 5.6% there as well. Now, RhinoFi, I believe they lost their X count last night for some stupid reason. I'm not sure if it's the algorithm or what algorithm updates or whatever it was, but hopefully we'll see them back soon. Curve as well. This is the one related to the property, not the limit orders, so which is the other one, Curve. This one's CVRE. It's up 5% today. World's greatest P-dye printer from OG WebChef up 5.3%, so earning the old P-dye. Doubt token right now at number 18 is up just under 5% as well. One of our top meme coins, what else? Sparta from Wendy's for 10 is up 4% right now. Not a lot of hex left in the treasury, but still moving up there. And zero knowledge proof printer there. The first project, as I understand it, to benefit from ProVex from Kairos, of course, the Emmett Farm developer. That is up 4% today, and it's had a great time, isn't it? The ZKP. We'll have a quick look at that. I think this is probably going to do pretty damn well over the long term. It's going to follow up the ProVex there, no doubt. Now, market cap 462K, liquidity 38 on the main peer. There's other peers, and 5.8K volume here as well. I'm not sure how many peers it has, but certainly got these peers here. And then, of course, let's have a look at the pulse ratio. Price holding up very well, like a boss, and it's been around for 27 days. Well, launching on pretty much day one, wasn't it, of ProVex, and you buy ZKP, you stake it, and you earn a ProVex. And ProVex, I think, has got a long way to run, especially when it's still in beta. So we'll see. Now, fundamentals, of course, once it happens, you can have a sell news event, all that stuff. We're sitting at 62 pulse per ZKP right now, so still elevated. So whoever got in on this has done pretty well, I would say, and earning nice little yield every day too. All right, so let's jump down from here. We've got PCock, our Kraken of pulse chain. That is looking pretty good. Let's go to the chart here, and we're going to have a look here. Now, we did have a page one seller the other day, didn't we? Even when the news was good, the optimism was good. I guess they went off and did the thing. I don't know what they did. They might have gone ProVex, might have gone off chain. Who knows? But we've got the chart here at the moment, and we've got the moving average. This is the daily chart. And you can see that we're above the 9 moving average, or we're above the turquoise, which is the 21, the key traders number there, right? The 21. And we're heading up towards the 34 here. So we've got a bit of an elevation here. Needs a little bit more volume to push it through. But we got some big announcement this weekend, guys. Big announcement for the old LibertySwap there. The Kraken on Pulse Chain, really pushing the frontier of DeFi worldwide. So we're pretty happy with that. And that is both a combination of privacy and trading as well, moving together. And we're not just talking about trading tools, but trading pools, yields, incentives, everything. The whole frontier of DeFi is being built out by LibertySwap. So, based out of Pulse Chain, fantastic. We are very lucky to have them here. And so, 1,300 penny right now on the moving average there. The RSI is sitting at 50. So just chill. People sitting on this, and we're excited to see where it will go. Let's have a look at the pulse ratio right now. Pulse ratio has gone a bit more higher as well. Also on the daily, we're above the 21 moving average. We had the RSI down at 58, and this is looking, just winding up, I guess, for the next move. And if you want to find out what I think the next move is, you jump in the Strategy Club, and links in the video description for that, and of course pinned to the top of X. And you can also, if you're on the phone, you can hit the QR code on the screen and sign up today, just over $1 a day, and hit me up for that. So there we go. We talked about it yesterday. All right, so there we go. That is the play right now for the old PCock. But let's go to the LibertySwap and see what the big deal is. What we were talking about. Well, LibertySwap says this is only a few hours ago. Actually, how long ago? This is 10 hours ago. A few hours. 10 hours ago. Almost there. We are providing a good and convenient product for Liberty users to trade billions of dollars at virtually no cost. Billions? Oh, we're excited about that. Now, even if it's millions, we're excited because this is a huge protocol they're going to be moving into. They have obviously done LibertySwap, where you can bridge multi-chain, including SVM chains and EVM chains, both. So we've been so lucky. They've moved into LibertyX with DEX aggregating. They've also moved into the PCock sites and everything else that they've got. So they've been pretty amazing, and they're moving into obviously yield offerings. We also this month we've got basically 3 big things that we're expecting: SDK APIs, so that other teams, not just on Pulse Chain but outside Pulse Chain, can integrate LibertySwap products. But also we've had that launch already. But also we're looking forward to the yield product, which looks like it's possibly going to be launching this weekend. And we also saw that the ZKX wallet, I think it is. I hope I get that right again. I always get it wrong. Is going to be is registering on the all the different app stores, and so that's going to be probably go live hopefully before the end of April. So 3 big juggernaut things happening there. So we're excited to see where all this goes. So, but it looks like we've got a big launch there this weekend. They go, my Lord and I celebrate because we are still standing. So they got Richard Hart here in the clouds, right? In the clouds there. Not really representing the true God who's outside space-time, but, it's the old daddy and sky daddy in the sky, as they say. But, of course, not really representing the reality of things. But that's what we're at the moment. Let's jump over up to some of the other stuff that we've been having as well from these guys. So we're going to scroll up a little bit here. 4 hours ago, so 10 hours ago, we got that teaser. Pulse Chain is so undervalued. The 10x, 50x, and even 1000x opportunities are here on Pulse Chain. You just need to choose the right assets to put your own money into. If you suck at trading like me, choose a strong community like PCock and build the asset up. And to the right, together with us, the big S is coming. Now, we're looking for some sort of big yield protocol with massive liquidity ramping up. So X is on the liquidity, and this is what we need. This is how projects survive. I already talked about all the fundamentals with Bitcoin, Ethereum, how they're 90% liquidity. Well, imagine that's what we need on Pulse Chain, especially now that we've had 8-9 down months for Pulse Chain. Liquidity is pretty thin, and we can get moving. Now, this excludes anything Richard Hart might do with the old magic carpet ride, with the stable coins that are on Pulse Chain sitting idle, with capital that's sitting in Ethereum, etc. All that stuff excludes all that. LibertySwap is leading the way, and this is what we like to see right now. Richard may participate in some of these activities, particularly around the privacy, because you can bridge a lot of stuff and all sorts of things are possible in the future. It really is a takeoff time, not only for Bitcoin and Ethereum with the digital asset treasuries, but also with LibertySwap on Pulse Chain. So exciting stuff happening here. Now, we're going to keep going because I want to get to their replies. We obviously got some of the trifecta in the house. There's Zero Trust doing some stuff. But let's go to their replies. We've got some pretty little good insights here. Now, I always suggest you go have a look at some of their replies to people because they have a lot of alpha dropping in there, right? So let's scroll down there a little bit here. Let's scroll down here. I'm just trying to find some of these ones. What else here? We will keep buying. We will keep adding buybacks of PCock and continue buying and burning mechanism to make PCock more valuable, while thickening and diversifying the PCock LP over time, which we've been seeing. Not so much burning. We've seen a lot in recent times. We've seen a lot of LP building, right, and also building up the treasury, been pretty exciting. They typically have been buying PCock, Pulse, and ETH, which is exciting to see, and probably getting ready for the yield product that's coming up, the S of the world, and that's this weekend, so we're going to get to that. We've got people keep chasing yield. Since the time I started my crypto journey, it's gone through a high yield masternodes, DeFi staking, HEX staking, liquid staking, non-custodial staking, basic trade staking and stablecoin staking. It all comes and goes in and out of fashion. Have a creativity in your generation, and crypto is endless. How about that? So we agree with that. And they're going to be providing their solution. So it's pretty cool. Super decentralization. I don't know what else we got. A couple comments in there. I'm not sure. We're going to scroll through all that. Trying to get to a couple comments that I saw them posts. Let's scroll down here a little bit more. Funny enough, LibertySwap benefits from PDI volume. Remember, PDI is one of the titans, one of the 100K plus volume over the 24-hour periods. And they always put in these teasers about PDI. PDI is in its volatility and pegging process. Now, we don't really see any pegging progress, right? We do see high volume, got a big community, and we got big influences on it, but no pegging process there. All attempts have kind of failed so far. And so, it's a lot of hopium there. The Coinbase, now it will do well because it's got all those catalysts I just mentioned. And those are some of the better catalysts. So it will do well for that point of view. But, this pegging process still to be seen. Is LibertySwap going to be the one to do it? We'll see whether that's the case. Now, remember, LibertySwap's really focused on PCock and the new airdrop token, right, for the wallet. So, heavy question marks over that. So we'll see where they go there. What else there? 24/7, our team will deliver. I don't know what the big S is, says whale proof, but I can't wait for the ZKX wallet to launch. Now, remember, a lot of PCock holders are going to get that airdrop. We don't know what the exact tokenomics are, but probably the bulk of it. And then they've got working 24/7. Our team will deliver. There we go. Now, what else we got? We're going to scroll down a little bit here. Just looking for a few comments that I saw. That's a value for this, at least for this live stream. This weekend, they say. This weekend. Well, this weekend working now. So if you wonder where I get my comments about this weekend, that is from this post here 4 hours ago. So there we go. Is it something, says Babestos, something stable or stable something? Stable something that is very stable. Now, they've also teased around stablecoin. I'm not associating it to the PDI necessarily. I mean, it's a possibility. But PCock would be pretty useful, right? If they can apply PCock and, of course, the airdrop wallet as well. So we'll keep a look at that. We're going to jump through some of this. We're going to scoot through. So they're doing something big about yield. They want to multiply the volumes that are going through on the Pulse chain via multi-chain. So we'll keep a look out for that. All right, let's just scroll down a little bit more. Just want to see what else they've been saying here. Let's keep scrolling a little bit. We're just scrolling down through the last 5 hours or so. So they've been pretty busy, as you can see, online, and they're looking for this weekend for the launch of the big S, a yield, probably yield liquidity product. And they were talking about whether they should have fee or not to encourage people to, the liquidity in there. So far, that's what we're expecting. They've also been talking about USDH, right? So hyper liquid stablecoin. We'll see what happens in that space with these guys. Obviously, they've been supporting USD1 and stuff like that from the Trumps. So we're going to keep a lookout. These guys are kind of trying to pull it all together, aren't they? What do we got here? Stablecoins move on the base. 56 million worth of stablecoins end up moving between base and Pulse chain. Full gasless and sponsored by LibertySwap there. So looking potentially some big stuff happening there. So we'll keep track of all that. These guys have big plans. They're also obviously trying to get themselves flipped. They've already supplied all the information to CoinMarketCap to get flipped from 24-hour volume to market cap. That would re-rate them from about 4,300 a position to top 1,000, top 800, and that therefore would trigger probably another re-rate. So that's always out there too. We haven't seen that happen yet, but that's definitely something that's in the window now, window of opportunity. So that would be pretty bullish. All right, so we've got. I really like these cards. I think they could do some cool cards like this. It'd be pretty cool if there's someone do a website where you can open up card packs and do all that. I think that'd be pretty neat. Better than NFTs. So yeah, we're almost there. Basically, that's what they were saying. Estimated time very soon. Well, we know 4 hours ago it's on the weekend, right? So everyone's excited about that. So big protocol coming, guys. I think that's it for now. Bridge to Pulse chain, yeah. So that was updates 9 hours ago. I don't think they've got anything more that I wanted to cover. Not that I can see, but just use Pulse Chain. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So that is a LibertySwap and PCock right now, sitting at just over 1,300 a penny, up about 4%. Let's see what else we're going at the moment. We've got the Zendog, part of the trifecta, and Zero, part of the trifecta there, all up about 2.6% or so, sitting at number 38. Oh, sorry, what there? Number 37. Scroll down here. Saw some minimum at the moment. It's gone up a little bit, 2.5% at 4.8 cents. Liquid loans, that was doing up a little bit yesterday, up 2.25%. Pump tires at number 45, up 2%. That's kind of where we are. So we've got a lot of them in the green at the moment. We've got 61, so 60% of our coins in the trending pair at least are green. Everything else is out of the money. What's the worst today? Well, apparently UFO and PTC is still struggling a little bit there, sitting around 0001, 0011. So not really moved too much there after the big run. We also had True Farm did really well yesterday, remember? Up at 88, 84 cents, and off the back of 70 cents. It's still sitting at 80, down 4.4% at the moment, but still doing very well. We're very excited about where they're heading. Let's see, SRE, I think, is the investment fund, so we're going to keep a look out there. I did do a post yesterday on X about them, so if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Mafia also was doing well yesterday, remember? That's cooled off just a little bit, 3.5%, sitting at 63 cents there from Rack and Rochelle and Jen Rochelle. And we've got True Farm there as well, 82 cents. In fact, is that the second one? We've got two pairs there, yeah. So depending on the pair there, it's up slightly better, only down 3.4%, along with Hex. Unity from Cryptographics, tied to the Pulse X, is down 3%, sitting at just under 1.8 cents right now. And that's kind of the play. Hex as well. That's pretty much it. How are we doing for time? 1 hour and 11 minutes. So we're almost about to finish. I think what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at Rat Pulse and maybe some of the head charts. I was going to do this later today. We'll have a quick look while we're online here. Oh, that's a die one. That's not what I wanted to see. That's not what I want to see. All right, so let me jump down here. Let's go to this one here. That's a bit better. And we're going to scroll down. And this is the 4-hourly chart. So we're sitting along across the 21 moving average. You can sort of see humming along. We're down at 52. But let's have a look at the all-time low. We must be pretty close off that. Yeah, it looks like it was back here. We had an all-time low of about 6,900 pretty much down the bottom here. Look at that. Keep tapping that too. But we're about 5 days away from that, and we're up at 7,500. So it looks like we're off the bottom there, and we're up about 7% there as well. The RSI on the daily 40 coming off the oversold. So not a lot happening, but we have got a lift in volume today, 4.8 million. That's a bit better than 3.3 mil. We'll take that. We've got Diamond Hand in the house as well with the thumbs up. Nice one there, Diamond Hand. So yeah, if you're new, of course, to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell. All that good stuff on YouTube. If you're on X, don't forget to smash the follow. If you want to get all the latest intel, I'm putting it through there all day in the Intel Club for the Strategy Club. And you can join up with the QR code. All the links in the video description, or go up to the top of X and go through the Whoop store, sign up, and get your Discord link and join up today. And we'll see you in there. A lot of great information passing in there for the bull market. So if you liked what you saw today on the live stream, definitely do that. Let's quickly go have a look at the weekly chart here for Pulse. We obviously got the big screen here. Let's go to the Zoom here. We're still humming along the bottom of the RSI around 30, so sort of playing around in the not fully oversold, but oversold territory. So we're looking for some green times ahead. We've got a green week at the moment, guys. We are coming off the bottom, though. Only in the last week we're at the bottom. Are we going to get this blue playing out? I've talked about all the fundamentals before. Is it our time from April onwards to start re-rating and get an uptrend rather than this mega downtrend, right? Mega downtrend. And let's think about that mega downtrend all the way from the second week of Pulse Chain all the way down. Not much fun. Not much fun, of course. That is our mega downtrend there. I'm going to make it yellow, but that is what we can see there. Not much fun there. And, of course, that's where the opportunity is now, right? Trying to find the bottom. Are you in the bottom? Because you can pick up so much more volume now. You know, the amount of pulse you could get for $85,000 US, you can now get for $7,500. So a billion pulse was 85,000 in sacrifice. You can now get for $7,500. Is the bottom in? Question mark. I've certainly painted out a lot of bullish catalysts for the crypto majors. and that will flow capital in too, and Pulse Chain will benefit from that indirectly, and directly, I guess, through flows. But then we also have the magic carpet ride from Richard Hart, right? So all that stuff gets re-rated on Ethereum as well. And Richard's got a number of chess moves he can play, and he's already played quite a few, on-chain ones with inflation and things like that, Prevex as well. So keep a lookout for that. Things can turn around pretty violently in crypto. If you pick off the bottom, it could be absolutely a dream run here, and no doubt we are pretty good right now, and the chart's indicating we're just humming along down the bottom here. All we need is to get some of these, right? So let's point out of that. Just get some of these moves in the RSI, right? And you got a nice value creation there, right? So we get some of these moves, and of course, are we going to get it here, moving forward here? Now, what's a month there? So, something like that. Are we going to get something like that happening, and get this mega upstream going together? So keep a lookout for that. Certainly fantastic buying right now on thin liquidity. Thin liquidity, of course, you can move pretty powerfully. Market maker comes in. Now, what we want to see probably is, maybe next week we get another consolidation. If the market does move next week after the 15th, then we, hopefully start to rise. We just need a couple of weeks consolidation at the bottom potentially, and then start ratcheting up, right? That's the play. And we got to get rid of the weekends. People that want 2-3x, got to get rid of them. People want 5-7x, got to get rid of them, etc. on the way up on the parabolic. So keep a lookout for that. All right, so that is the old weekly charts, and of course we're going to the monthly for Pulse. It's not surprising there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 9. So are we going to be green this month? That's the question. I'm feeling pretty positive that we'll go green, and that maybe 8 months will be it rather than 9 months. So we'll find out. We're certainly tapping that, and of course the RSI on the weekly there as well. So keep a lookout on that one, and we'll see what happens here. Will this play out? Certainly feeling good about it at the moment. So more probable than not is where I'm sitting on that camp. All right, we got rid of all the bad contracts. We got rid of hopefully the sacrifices have all had enough, and we can really rotation is finished for the most part, and we can really start to climb up on the old charts there. That would be the dream run there. All right, I don't know what that was a green candle, guys. That was an inspiring green candle for you guys. That's expiring. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. An hour and 70 minutes. Been a fantastic show. I've enjoyed it. You can see that it is hyper bullish. The crypto markets are looking absolutely fantastic. Michael Saylors harvesting the debt market, hundreds of trillions of dollars, bring that value into Bitcoin, and of course offering, beating up the good old money market, bond markets, and credit markets for the next revolution of money. It really is amazing. There are about 6 years to go until the large part of Bitcoin has been mined out. We've got a halving in 2 years. That's the supply side. On the demand side, we have ETFs, institutions, corporates ramping up to get the Bitcoin. And as they come in over the next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be less Bitcoin. They're going to be paying much higher prices. We got the digital asset treasury from Michael Saylor now. Really, if it's buying 45 to 50,000 Bitcoin at the current price levels, if it starts going from $250 million a day to $1 billion a day, remember it's harvesting at $1 trillion market, so the money's there, and the differential and interest rates are there, right? Massive differences. It's a game changer. So you can see that's huge. And the more it takes off, the more fulfilling it comes. 5% of the liquid supply. That's huge. And of course, it could easily end up hitting 1 million. It's 1 million target of Bitcoin, probably by as soon as maybe September, October, maybe even earlier, August. But certainly looking good for this year. And then I guess it has to move on after that and head up towards 2 mil. Now we know the network effect is typically taps out at about 12%, but we'll see where they go from here. And of course, if they get to 1 million, what will the price of Bitcoin be by then? If they get to 2 million Bitcoin in strategy, what will the price of Bitcoin be by then? Does it go from 1 million to $5 million Bitcoin? So it was pretty crazy, and they're just hodling it, right? Hodling it for life. And then, of course, we've got the Ethereum with the digital asset treasury there from Tom Lee. We'll get a nice update on Monday about their increased buying, and this has got plenty of cash, and the MNAV's not too far away from going positive, and therefore they'll be able to raise more cash once it gets positive MNAV. We also saw them announce a move to $4 billion buyback if they need it in the future. to support price as well. Although I think they're going to be harvesting the finance from the traditional markets, moving over to Ethereum, and therefore it's game on there too. It's unbelievable, isn't it? This is what happens when it all starts to come together. And fingers crossed on the Clarity Act, April, May. Hopefully we get that over the line. That really is important too. And then things settle down on the geopolitical front. Trump has got the security and the prosperity for the American people, and that will feed back to the rest of the world through consumption. And the midterms are won by the Republicans. We have common sense and decency, relatively speaking, back in rather than madness and chaos and destruction from the Democrats and the progressives. And the world is a much better place. We also see that Trump is also reorganizing the world around oil and pushing its enemies down to make that even more secure. So thank goodness for that. It is truly a breakthrough. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited. Mad run. Lots of money to be made. Magic Carpet Ride will get valuable. The ETH that Richard holds will go up in value. Imagine $10,000 ETH. He's already mentioned that last year. $20,000 ETH, 60,000 network revalue. Exciting stuff. Future's bright. Get the good stuff. Not everything's going to pump. The alt season's not going to be the same as it was in 21. There's so many millions of coins now. A lot of coin launcher sites. You do have to focus on value. That's the one takeaway I'll give you. Focus on the valuable coins. Get rid of your crap. Get the good stuff. Ride up this bull market takeoff. It's going to be great. If you guys love that, don't forget to subscribe, smash the follow. I'll catch you again on the next show. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.